First story. Hi all. As the title says it, I caught my boyfriend of 8 years Snapchatting another woman. We are high school sweethearts. I have always been secure in our relationship. He's never done anything to make me question him. But something in my gut felt uncomfortable. I was in our bedroom and he was in our living room. I turned our living room camera on and watched as he Snapchatted a woman. She sent him a photo but our camera couldn't make out what it was. I'm assuming it was a nude. I rewind the camera and he went into the bathroom earlier. I have strong feelings he sent a nude. When he left to the restroom, I walked out to grab his phone on the couch and he sprinted into the living room. We tussled for his phone, has never happened before, and he swung my body to the couch before retrieving his phone. I am currently bruised up in a few places from us tussling over his phone over an hour. He also broke our apartment door handle trying to exit. He told me he had nothing to hide but refused to show me his phone. When he finally showed me his phone, it was clear, but he wouldn't let me hold it. I know he hid somewhere to clear it during this hour. While he may not have physically cheated, he betrayed my trust. I love him. I always thought he was the love of my life. He's still in denial and is standing 10 toes down that he wasn't doing anything, but our camera caught it all. I left to stay with my sister. He hasn't reached out to me and it's been 12+ hours. Our lives are extremely intertwined. Friends, business, family. I don't know what to do, but I'm distraught. I don't know what my life will be like without him, but I can't imagine our relationship ever being the same. Let's see how other people respond. Comment 1. People who have nothing to hide don't behave as he did. You know what you saw, and you don't actually know the depth of his betrayal. Until he decides to be honest, it will be difficult to get anywhere. Comment 2. Agreed. My WW got physical with me over her cell phone as I started reading her chats with AP from Snapchat out loud. She had never gotten handsy with me prior to or since then. Comment 3. I'm so sorry, but you know, I'm all for R, but his behavior isn't even close to being ready for R. Trust your gut. You know, take care of yourself for now, to deserve better. He may not have reached out yet because he knows he messed up. He knows he's caught in some sort of awful behavior and maybe needs to process what to do next, but protect your heart. You deserve better than that for sure. Opie answers. Thank you. This means a lot. I feel very lost. He texted me saying he can't imagine a life without me, but no apology or admitted to it yet. Comment 4. The physical altercation and him tussling, throwing your body around is violent and concerning by itself. Never mind the betrayal and him sending nudes from the bathroom, which is pretty obvious what happened. No, your relationship can never be the same. Trust is broken. If he's having second thoughts about a life with you, now is the time to figure that out before you spend a lifetime with a spouse who will potentially cheat again if he doesn't address it fully now. Whatever his drives are, his why. You need to find out. He needs to find out. I wish you the best. I hope he can find humility and confess fully to you whatever he has done, how long he's been Snapchatting women, etc. If there is this, there is likely more, maybe a lot more, that your boyfriend of 8 years has been hiding from you. Be gentle with yourself and have the courage to push this out into the open now. I'm very concerned about the level of physicality he was willing to introduce to hide his Snapchat infidelity from you over a dick pic. Did you actually see the pic of him? Did you see any he'd sent her? Now is the time for an open device policy. Opie answers. He cleared the messages before I got to it. I saw on our home camera a silhouette of a woman from Snapchat. I saw him go into the bathroom previously and come out. I am assuming he sent a dick pic but no concrete proof. Comment 5. First thing to do, take physical space and go NC for a period until you have a clear head to make the necessary decisions. I made the mistake of staying and being brainwashed by his lies, but objectively your situation is not a good one. He hurt you and lied and downplayed everything. In what world is that okay? You can't see it clearly now because you're in a fog. Go to your support system. Tell him you need time and space and do not give in to his BS. He'll try everything in the book to brainwash you. I highly recommend reading Chump Lady's blog and book. You'll see how common these tactics are. Second story. Okay, so my son turns 3 next month. My son's father cheated on me multiple times, and I found out all at once about 2 years ago when I went through his phone. We split, got back together, briefly tried therapy, and have been really good since October 2023. I found out I'm pregnant again and I immediately became worrisome. I wanted a second child, but I don't know if we're healed enough for that or if I'm ready. But he kept encouraging me to make our family bigger and how things are better. But I've honestly never fully trusted him. He tries to reassure me, but I know he's a liar and a narcissist, and I already felt like he could be doing something still even though he comes home at reasonable times now. doesn't drink as heavy as the past and answers my calls now either right away or soon after. But this feeling is intensifying, maybe the hormones, maybe intuition. So tonight, about 2 weeks since finding out about my second pregnancy, he was drinking and didn't answer my calls for about 45 minutes. And for some reason I just knew there was more to it. He comes home drunk and calls me when he steps out of the car. Since I called, he had about 6 missed calls from me, but says he was walking down the street towards our house because he's smoking a cigarette. I asked him why he didn't have his friend drop him off in front of the house and accused him of being dropped off by a woman. He denied it, made jokes, told me how much he loved me and I'm being crazy. He fell asleep and his guy friend that he said he was with texted him asking him to go out. If he had really been with him and he dropped him off, why would he text him to go out? So I checked the phone. Def not as much things there as I found 2 years ago. But on occasion he FaceTimed a female that he has saved under a different name. And one of the females he was cheating on with me before was resaved in his phone under a different name. Someone I know, by the way, so I pleaded to him if I took him back he's to never talk to her again. And yet her number always ends up back in his phone. Clearly I can't stay. My mind still keeps trying to make excuses. But I've known what it was for so long already. My dilemma is, I wanted a second child and I'm really hoping for a girl. But I don't know if I want to be a single mom of 2 under 5. And I don't know if I want to go through this pregnancy and break up at the same time. I'm only like 6 weeks pregnant at most and I contemplate just stopping it now. But I know I'll regret it. But I'm fearful, like what if I can't love this baby the same way I loved my first, knowing he made me do this alone. Let's see how other people respond. Comment 1. He baby trapped her. It happened to me, too. Do not shame her. OP, leave now. File CS and end this scorched earth. Don't wake up in the same spot you are right now in a few years. Make the new life, starting today. OP answers. Because we were doing well. I thought he changed. I had doubts. But at the end of the day, he came home every day and we were a happy household. My son loves him and he's a great father. He doesn't really see the sides that I am going through. Hence why I'm on Reddit talking to strangers. The pain isn't in my household. Comment 2. About the pregnancy. You are already tied to him for almost 18 years. If he doesn't disappear, he will have to pay for child support. But is he able to co-parent? Are you financially by your own able go on for the future? OP answers. I can financially do it, I think. I know he'll co-parent as he's very attached to his current son. I don't know if he'll give child support easily. I keep thinking that too though. Like I'm already tied to him, so having another one won't really change the fact that he'll still have to be there regardless. But having 2 alone, broken home just sounds scary. Like what man is going to want me with 2 kids, even though I know I have seen people get remarried with even more kids. Continue comment. Can you get professional aid as a therapist, etc.? I know you don't have much time and the decision must be taken. However, if the pregnancy goes on, don't panic, but do not let him manipulate you or trap you. He has shown who he is, that he knows how to lie, how to manipulate, and he doesn't care about your family and your relationship. Good luck and hugs, and I send you all my better energy. I used to walk for 1 or 2 hours, just to breathe and to get my mind in a better position to make the right decisions. OP answers. I just reached out to my therapist because my mental health really isn't doing well right now. I was avoiding her because she's also pregnant and, although she's not a fan of my BF to begin with and I'm not sure her stance on abortion, I figured as a pregnant woman there's no way her advice would be to abort. Leave him of course, but I just wanted two-way advice, which is why I came here. But I do need a professional, so I reached out. I'm actually at work right now and had some cancellations and was planning on going for a walk. So we're def on the same page. And yeah, with the first he planned to stay and be a family, and how bad he didn't want to lose his son. And I fell for it. I don't want to do that again. I just feel really dumb to think it could be different. And so guilty to subject myself and another child to a broken home. Comment 3. Whatever you do, don't pressure yourself to make a decision. You have until 11 weeks. That's plenty of time to break up and move out and get things in order before deciding. My BF cheated, and a few months after reconciling I got pregnant with my first, now 3 months. I pressured myself immensely to make a decision by 6 weeks because of the heartbeat, and I decided to keep the baby. Around 9 weeks I started feeling doubts and trapped, and by then we had told everybody, etc., so even more pressure. Give yourself time. Ask yourself if you can handle 2 alone, financially, physically, emotionally. There is no shame in abortion, but I felt that majorly, and I feel for you. My therapist has had an abortion and she still pressured me to not get one. My mom, who is pro-choice, pressured me to keep it. I wish I had someone to tell me to do the right thing for me and not feel guilty about it. do the right thing for you, whether keeping the baby or not. By the way, him doing this is trapping you intentionally, which is even more disgusting and scary. He has zero respect for you, for your children, for himself. This seems abusive. Opie answers, I do think that too. He believes that if we keep having kids I'll stay. I think that's what prompted me out of frustration to say I'm not keeping it mid-argument. I feel so many things because like you, with my first everyone told me to keep ask my mom. And I look at him now and I think OMG, I'm so glad I did it. But then sometimes when I'm being real with myself in my situation I think, even though I love my son, I should have waited for a better partner and situation. So now that I'm in this situation again I'm still pinned against wanting a family, and not wanting to abort and not be able to conceive later, versus doing the right thing and not bringing a life into an already super messy situation. Comment 4. I'm so sorry, OP, to hear what you are going through. It seems that he is a serial cheater, and when this happened the first time, there was a lot of rug sweeping. You have a lot of decisions to make now, and my suggestion is that you separate and go no contact with him to give yourself some clarity. Can you stay with friends and family? You mentioned that he is a narcissist. That is the hugest red flag, as narcissists are incapable of change. He obviously has no problem lying to you, as this has become his normal behavior, and it won't improve in the future. You already know that. No one can tell you what to do, of course, but bringing a new life into this already messed up situation at best would be very difficult and at worst irresponsible. Sending you strength, OP. OP answers, yeah, that's my dilemma. Thanks so much for your response and compassion. I don't want my unborn child to not even know what a family looks like together, because they will be born in midst of a breakup. But I also was raised to keep it, and I already told my whole family about the pregnancy and my coworkers. I just get scared that if I do it, lie about it to everyone too, that there might not be another chance in the future. I do think we could co-parent since we have two already, but I don't know, it just does seem irresponsible to go through with having another. Comment 5. You've said you never fully trusted him since 2 years ago when you caught him cheating the first time, and you believe he's a narcissist. If he's a lying narcissist, why did you continue the relationship? Really? Why? I won't accept an answer like I thought he changed or things were going better. I want to hear a deeper reason, like I don't love myself or I never had a dad and I cling to the closest man who shows any interest. So why are you trying to build a family with a lying, cheating narcissist? Opie answers, but to answer the question because maybe it will help me, or I don't know, you understand me? I grew up in a household with a drug-addicted father and an enabling mother with a very unstable relationship. I have left or sabotaged great relationships because deep inside I probably feel I don't deserve them. I feel attached to this man probably because of his unstable pathways and how I feel internally. I've been trying to leave, but I see the good in others and wanted to believe that there was a chance that the words he was speaking of changing for me and his family would one day come true. Because on an everyday basis I love to feel loved by him, with knowing that at one point his character wasn't the same but our love was stronger. I loved watching him grow into maturity and fatherhood. Our son is the happiest child, and I like to think that our love and what he sees on a daily basis is the cause of that. Our love isn't perfect and the trials we have been through suck, but I did think we were moving past that and I was excited that we could overcome it. I didn't want to be my parents, but the outcome of changing a relationship similar to my parents into something good. Maybe it's the unhealed child in me. I've been fighting against it for the last 3 years. I've known I should have left, but the love when it's going well feels right, feels good, feels powerful, which is why children coming from it doesn't feel bad to me. I love my son, and I love that I had him even if his father could not be who we needed him to be. But I also know I cannot continue to live a life where it's only sometimes good and loyal. I want it all the time. Third story. I, 29F, found out that my husband, 30M, has been cheating on me for the last 3 years of our marriage. We have been together for 12 years, married 9 years. We have 3 children, all under the age of 7. In July 2021, day after my daughter's 3rd birthday party, we were at the grocery store when I found out. My 3-year-old had his phone and was watching a show. She wanted a new show on, so I took the phone to help her. That is when his other woman texted. I don't remember everything that was said, but it was enough to know something was going on. I confronted him about it. I made sure the kids did not know what was going on. I did not yell. I simply asked who she was. I could see the immediate panic. The first license I found out was that it was just an AI app, artificial intelligence girlfriend. As soon as that came out of his mouth, I could start seeing all the lies. Before this, I had no clue any of this was going on. My father suspected a year before this, but I defended him. I went straight to my mother to calm down for an hour or 2. I did not want to be away from my kids that long. When I got back, we out the kids to bed and I confronted him again. The next lie was that it was an online affair and that he deleted everything as soon as I found out. I still had my suspicion that it was more than that, so for weeks I pushed and finally had enough and contacted the other woman. She wouldn't tell me anything because she didn't want to get involved. Apparently he told her we were separated and going through a nasty custody battle. She was a 45F former co-worker of his. Apparently left her husband for him. After I told him I contacted her, he told me it was a physical relationship for the past 2 years. He would go on side jobs to meet up with her. Told me she was never at our house or around the kid. I work 40+ hours a week on second and third shift. He works 40+ a week first and occasionally on call. He would use side jobs and on-call excuses to see her. Either I would be at home with the kids or he would get his parents to watch them if I was at work. He also turned his parents against me when this all came to light. They blamed me for making him feel unloved. I work full-time on off shifts, sleeping 2 to 4 hours a day. Fluck was dealing with 3 kids, paying bill, getting a handle on my postpartum depression, and still making sure I did everything I could for him. I almost lost our daughter in childbirth and was trying to get over that trauma. I still had a feeling that there was more, so more time passed and I contacted the other woman again. She called him and was not happy about being used and played. She is still at fault too, and I think she is playing dumb. She knew he was still married and even saw the happy family photos on my Facebook. This time he told me it was a 3-year relationship, just after I had our 3rd child. They had sex on the living room floor. Small house, so my kids' bedrooms are right off the living, and this is making me sick, and in the garage. That they had sex more than the original quote of 7-8 times. I just don't know what to do. I can't afford to divorce him. I just feel completely trapped. He said he would never do it again and that he would do everything to make things better, but I just don't see it happening. It would be one thing if he misplaced his dick once, but this was a 3-year affair. Being lied to for months and having to pull the truth all the way out has been torture. This added to the pain of the affair. He turned his parents against me, as if it was all my fault, then tell me it was not my fault and that I was an amazing wife. And he was just blind by what he thought he didn't have. He also refound God in all of this. We were never religious, but all of a sudden he is, and his parents told him that God's forgiveness is all that really matters. I have all his passwords now and can see who he is texting and calling, but I feel like I am a parent making sure their child is not misbehaving. I really just don't know what to do. I finally got a handle on the postpartum depression and now I feel more depressed than ever. Long, me 31 and my STBXH 32 have been married for 11 years and together 15 years. We have 3 elementary school kids. He had his first affair 3 months after I had our last child. This lasted 3 years before I found out. We tried to work it out, but he kept lying and hiding things. It took a year before he told me the whole truth. From a drinking problem while he was alone with the kids to bring his affair partner over to the house while I worked and the kids slept. He went so far as to make a fake document claiming he could not get a passport due to back child support to avoid going on a cruise with her, claiming he was in a mental institution for a bit as a reason he didn't talk to her at times. None of this true. It was very hard to trust him as he refused to do anything I asked to fix the trust. Yet I was made to be the bad guy and him the victim. A lot went down with his parents blaming me for his affair, them threatening to sue us for grandparent rights. They moved to another state and barely saw the kids when they lived 5 minutes away. Also threatened to sue for a loan their son had with them that I was unaware of, falsely accusing me of child abuse because I didn't say hi to them in the grocery store. They full admitted to this being the reason. Lots of bullying from them, so I cut them off and asked that when he has contact with them, he would be open about their discussion, as he admitted to lying about me to them. At the beginning of the year, I thought we were getting back on track. He made me homemade chocolates and got me flowers for Valentine's Day. I still had some trust issues, and I was afraid of breaking up the family and my kids coming from a broken home. But that next weekend, his new affair partner's baby daddy showed up at our home to confront him and make sure I knew. My daughter 5 witnessed some this before I could pull her into another room. Thankfully, the other man left soon after. I asked my STBXH to leave. He said let me pack a bag, and that was it. He left and went to pick up his affair partner. They ran off that night, taking $900 out of our joint bank account, as that is all the ATM would allow. They had hit a couple. I put a stop to that by transferring everything to my mother's account till I could make a new one. They have both gotten a 2-bedroom apartment together. She has 2 kids, 3F and 9M, 50-50, week on week off. A week after we had a written agreement that he signed about support and parenting time. He would send $3,100 a month and see the kids every other weekend supervised. Now I did find out that his new girlfriend had ran off with her kids before disappearing for a month. So in fear of this, and that her ex is claiming abuse from her, I asked for supervised visits. I do believe that STBXH drinking problem was getting worse. STBXH told me not to get a lawyer, we could do this cheap and peacefully. Load of BS I know now. He went back on the agreement a week later, got a lawyer and claimed he was forced to sign that agreement. This whole time I was filling the paperwork out alone and asking him for help with the divorce. Nothing. He then said he had been talking to a lawyer. So I went out and put down a $3,500 retainer on one as well. For March he sent $1,500 in child support and April $900. No court orders. I had to start paying for childcare as we used to work opposite shifts to avoid this, but I changed my schedule to be home for the kids. He refused to pay half like he promised. I have to admit I was a mess. Complete blindsided. This woman he ran off with is my oldest son's best friend's mom. Lots of soccer games together and lots of sleepovers with her son at my house. STBXH never wanted our son at their house because he said it wasn't safe. I didn't know them that well. He doesn't care about the effect this has had on our oldest son and his best friend. He didn't want to tell our son, but I had to force him. They are in the same class and see each other every day. The other boy already knew, and our son, 9, did not need to hear about how dad ran off with best friend's mom from another 9-year-old. My son doesn't want to talk about it, so I don't force him. I did sign all my kids up for therapy, just to give them someone neutral to talk to. I also found out he hid a gun in the house without me knowing. I had asked him after his first affair to remove all of them after he admitted to depression and drinking problem. Anyway, our agreement stated 3-day notice before visitation. He didn't do this several times. I made an exception several times. He can talk to the kids every night on the phone, he got them. He only talks to oldest 9, average 2 minutes most nights. The youngest, 5F and 6M, hate talking on the phone and don't really seem to care to talk to him. This past month has been soccer season, and he hasn't been to a single game or practice, except the last one after I refused to let him take the kids until there are court orders. He hasn't seen them in a month. He is claiming parent alienation. He even missed his last visitation, no call, no show. A month of not seeing them or asking to see them, and then demanded to take them. He doesn't have beds for them. He thinks it is okay for my daughter 5 to share a room with her son 9. My oldest also has problems sleeping and would not do good sharing a room with 4 other kids. He has brought the police to my house twice now. Once when he picked up most of his things back in February. He was afraid of the other dad showing up and possibly getting beat up. His own fault. This last time he brought the police to the house to pick the kids up. And I knew he was coming, so we left for my parents before he got there. I knew he would try something, just not this. Told him he could come to the kids' games the next day and then to the park. I am not comfortable with him taking physical custody of the kids and having no way to get them back. The police can do nothing, and I know he is only trying to bully and intimidated me into giving the kids up. Again, he has no court orders, so they can do nothing. I saw him on the Ring camera telling them that I am lying to my lawyer. I'm not. I have sent my lawyer a lot of proof of all my claims. My lawyer has filed and sent in temporary orders, and we are just waiting on a court date. No timeline. I just don't know what to do. I don't trust him. It has been one lie after another. Mind games and blindsiding and playing victim. I just want all this to be over. The stress and always looking over my shoulder. I have had enough of this.